a lump. It's a grump. No, it's just a garden guy, finally. Hello all, Oni in the garden, and I'm in the garden for a change. I lost my video recording equipment several months ago, and haven't been able to record since then because my old phone was a piece of shit. My new phone, on the other hand, is really nice. Samsung A10, go Samsung. So let's do quickly, not even close to being able to do quick here. Real quick recap of what's happened in the last, I don't know, just shy of a year. So we're trying potatoes again. It is the third week of March at this point, fourth week of March maybe. I've lost track of time. COVID-19 makes life very interesting. Spring break does too. So these were put in mid-February, and they are, you can see, under the eaves, so they catch a little bit of rain. They're also protected by the shade cloth, so they hopefully won't get overly hot once the sun really starts coming out. Today is, we're topping out about 54. Low last night was 47, but that's because we had a massive cold front move through and just dump a whole bunch of rain on us and drop temperatures by a good 20 degrees. Day before yesterday was 87 for a high, and lows were 74. So, yeah, temperature doesn't know what the heck it's doing because, well, it's Texas and it's March. So another thing that you can kind of notice, the raised bed is moved. That's a solid 4 foot there, might be 4.5 depending on exactly where you are, but that's all very good. I can get back there, I can do stuff, I can harvest peas, which we'll be getting to. The yard itself is a disaster area, and if you look right there and over that way, you'll see piles of rock. Those are from when we tore the bed out. We found a whole bunch of dirt in the rocks, and I couldn't have dirt in the rocks. I could have rocks in my dirt, but I couldn't have dirt in my rocks. So we had to screen a lot of it, and we lost some rocks in the process, which sucks. Raised bed itself, we did have to replace the pond liner, but that was okay. New pond liner isn't fitting perfectly, but it is watertight, at least as far as I can tell. I still haven't gotten as much dirt as I would like, but it's been running for a while now, and it's running pretty well. Over here, so we put peas in last, I want to say October. It might have been as late as November. And the peas are able to handle a lot cooler temperatures than a lot of vegetables and fruits can do. So they were doing quite all right. These ones are snow peas, I believe, or sugar peas. I can't tell which. I can't remember which was which. Tried doing a video, the phone just couldn't handle it. Over here, if those are snow peas, these are sugar peas. If these are snow peas, those are sugar peas. That much I can tell you. I can't tell you anything other than that. They're just two different varieties of peas. As you can see, these are doing really, really well. They're all the way up to the top, and they are pressing against the ceiling, so huzzah. We've got bush beans down there. They aren't doing very well. A lot of that has to do with, I've got powdery mildew, which you can see on the peas there. It's fairly easy to deal with if I just wanted to get out here and deal with it. Unfortunately, I haven't really had much time or energy to come out and deal with it. The pumpkins you see over here, and there's actually a third one right there, or what's left of a third one. Those are from Halloween. The wife bought a couple of sugar pumpkins, or pie pumpkins, and we painted on the outside little faces. Didn't carve them, just painted them, and we left them on the sidewalk. Well, come, late January, that one started to sag a little bit on top. The other two were just fine, and still are. You could actually probably, that one right there's got a soft spot on the bottom, finally, and that one's got a slightly larger soft spot that's actually been chewed a little bit by worms, which is all to the good. That one started sagging. I threw it in here, knew it was going to just turn into, mush, and the wife decided to throw these two in as well. All to the good, because we'll get some pumpkins out of it. I have thinned out, that's what you can see all this stuff is. I pulled a bunch of pumpkins up and out so we don't end up with, like we did with the muskmelons a couple of years ago, just far too many climbing and just overtaking the bed. So let's see, that's the bush beans. There's an onion there that had gone manky inside the house. If it rots out, it rots out. That's whatever. That one right there. It also went manky, but it had sprouted, so we're trying to see. Same with this one right here. So we're going to see if we can get something to come out of those. Garden scraps. We went on spring break, and we had bought about 2 pounds worth of peas, or green beans, bought about 2 pounds worth of green beans before we left, and a zucchini or 3, and they're all here. Now that gray stuff that you're seeing is kitty litter. We do have a cat. Said cat is, well, it's a poop factory because that's what cats do. So every once in a while when we're cleaning out the kitty litter, we just take the entire tray and dump it in here. It provides a lot of nutrients and eventually will make some decent mass once it gets mixed in better. And I know I have a very healthy worm colony in here. Because let's see if I can pull up a couple here. Hi guys. See one right there, a couple over there, and little guys over there. I can come in here and go fishing. I want to tuck that underneath there so it rots a little faster. And those are volunteer tomatoes. Got a couple more volunteer things. Let's see. There's a lot of those are coffee grounds, more coffee grounds, more coffee grounds, more coffee grounds, all the way down to the end. Coffee grounds do make a great compost, and compost worms love them. So I think they get a kick off the caffeine. The celery here. We bought a celery and cut it up, and sometimes you can get them to regrow, and that one's actually starting to grow a little bit. So hopefully it grows roots before it molds out, before it rots. A couple more tomatoes there, volunteers. That is a hatch green chili. There were 3 plants. I managed to overwinter it. It got baked pretty damn hard over the summer last year, and it was sitting back right in that area there, back there. It got baked pretty hard, but I managed to take it back over to work, and it never really did well in my office, but at least it survived. And that's the important part. I brought it back here just before spring break because I knew I wasn't going to be in my office for a week, so it would have dried out. The spiderwort is in and is looking beautiful, and it's kind of scattered itself over the entirety of the verge, which is overgrown. You can kind of make out daffodils. No flowers, just the plants themselves. So the fern, I'm not sure what kind of flower that is, whatever it is doing well enough. That needs to be pulled out a little bit. In fact, I want to do that right now because otherwise it might just be so dry that it ends up dead. And the in-law would not be very happy about that. I think those are some spinach volunteers. I'll take that. We lost all of the strawberries, and I do mean all of the strawberries. But I've decided these beds here are just too shallow to do anything useful with. And they're probably too depleted, to be entirely honest. So they've got daffodils in them. They don't hold into any moisture in any significant way, but at least the daffodils are there. I do have, the mother-in-law brought me some blue bonnets from her yard, and some of them at least are surviving. What is that? That looks like, that's a poo. Ew, that's a poo. Okay, whatever. One of the neighborhood cats, I guess. But you can see here, that's a blue bonnet, and I want to get some flowers in the not too distant future. We've got a couple other patches that are around the yard. Most of them look like they've been pretty heavily devastated by something. I'm guessing snails or something else that likes to chew on blue bonnets. Likes to chew on leaves. Here is the apple tree. It is, like I said, late March. Come on, focus. But you can kind of see there, if it'll focus. We've got buds coming in, and over here we've got actual leaf sets, and the whole thing is just taller than I am now. So it's only like 2 years old, 2.5 years old, and it's probably a good 10 feet tall, which is really, really nice. Pallets left over from, well, all the various pallet projects. I'm going to go ahead and tear these down, and you can see I've got 55-gallon drums. We've got a local supplier who sells them for about, was it $30 a piece, I think, maybe 45, and they're food grade. So this is the beginnings of an aquaponics system, or it will be once I go through and split, I think, these two here, and then cut an opening on the side of this one. That one gets mounted underneath these two, and we use you can see the cutouts there. Those are going to make great places for the actual grow beds to sit, so they don't want to roll as much. Got a jigsaw for my birthday, so I'm going to be doing some more stuff with that. And we're probably going to turn that into a rain catchment thing once I bother getting my gutters up. I've got the gutters, I just haven't had time to really get them up. So the backyard is, okay, so you can see this is about knee high on me. The backyard is about the same, but instead of being grass, it's horse herb, which is it's in the candidate family of things you invent Velcro from, because it hooks onto cloth and everything else. It'll hook onto skin and just pull. So yeah, do have some very nice Indian paintbrush coming in. That pot is doing very, very well, and I hope to harvest a few seeds off of it come the next several months. Hopefully it gets some really good flowers. Then I can scatter some of them around. The asparagus is doing very well indeed, so I'm happy with that. It'll probably be ready to actually harvest a couple of spears come next year. It does take about 3 years for a crown to mature. The crowns in the backyard are buried, but they're still growing in, so they're fine. I'm not sure what's in that pot. I know I planted it. That's all I can tell you. But other than that, it grows, and it's growing well, sort of. I haven't decided what I want to put in, other than the sports and, you know, kitchen scraps, for the raised bed. I do know I want another probably about 6 inches of dirt in here before I really get into planting regularly. But other than that, you know, any ideas or suggestions, put them in the comments below. Talk to y'all later.